Welcome to a special edition of SantorSnakes. On this episode, I'm going to tell Carter the crazy story about what happened during the storm.
Thank you to those who like and subscribe.
Now, cue that intro. So Carter, as you know, we've had that big storm over this past week.
Yeah.
And we got lots of snow, and that caused the power to go out.
Yeah.
And we lost power here, and we didn't have power for 40 hours straight. So that's almost 2 full days without power. And without power, there's no heat. There's no refrigeration, there's no TV, there's no internet, but no heat for the snakes. Okay? So the first night that we didn't have power, I had all of the snakes in little tubs with me in bed. And I had baby girl, Daisy, and Wiz on top of me in bags, mesh bags, and I had all the littles on this side, and I had Cuddles over here, and they were all in tubs, and I made like air pockets under the covers and stuff so they would stay warm but they still had air to breathe, and that worked okay. But then the second night, it was so cold in here, it was only 40 something degrees, no heat, so I put them in the car. I slept in the bed, but the snakes were in the car, and I left the car running with the heater on, and I made sure that the temperature was okay. So they were all in, the car was in the 80s all night long, all day long, and they lived in the car for a couple days in little tubs. Yes. So on day 3, I go outside, because I went out there often and checked on them. I went out there one time, and Princess was gone. She had popped open the lid of her tote and gotten out. I looked under the seats, I looked kind of up in the dash a little bit and back in the back seats, and I couldn't find her. I pulled apart the dash and pulled apart the center console as much as I could, and I'm looking in there with flashlights, and I couldn't find her.
Yeah, but you found her eventually because she's in her tub.
She is okay. She is back in her enclosure, and she's safe and warm.
Good.
But the only thing that I could think of was that she was further into the dash, like behind the steering wheel, or behind like the stereo and stuff, where I couldn't see. But I didn't know what else to do, so I just left the car running so it would stay warm, otherwise she would have froze to death. And I just kept going out there every couple hours and checking and looking and looking. I put flour across the floor mats to see if I could see her moving from one spot to another across the flour. I put a dead mouse in really hot water in a cup, so that the smell would be there and entice her to come out to eat. That didn't work. I thought that she was up in the front in the dash, so I was banging on the front bumper and the front quarter panels by the tires to try to get her to move away. But I was scared that leaving the heater on, it might burn her, because if she was up there and she got too hot, I was like, if I turn it off, if she gets too cold, then she's gonna die. And I'm like, I might be freezing her to death, I might be burning her to death.
So just put it in the center.
I put it on the lowest setting of heat to try and keep it in just the 80s. And then, so we had the pipes break, so half of our place is flooded with water. So I take all of the snakes to a hotel. We spent the last 2 nights there, everything. But Princess was still lost in the car. So our car is in the hotel parking lot running for 2 days straight. I turned it off just long enough to refill up the car with gas.
Good.
And then it's been on. I was going out there every couple of hours and still nothing. And I had all but given up. I was like, I don't know what else to do. I did make an appointment to go to the car dealership to see if they could pull it apart more than I did and find her. But luckily I didn't have to do that, because at 11 o'clock last night when I went out to look, I'm looking in the usual spots and I'm working my way to the back of the car, and I pulled your seat up toward my seat, and I'm looking kind of under there, and I get low, so I'm like, oh, I can see under more, and then I look like this up, and there she was.
On the ceiling?
So she was on the top of the trunk. There's metal cage bars, tubes, and stuff for the structure of the car. And in that top tube, there were these holes. So it makes it lighter, easier to make. And I could see her checkered belly scale pattern in 4 of the holes. And I just went, and I poked her to see if she was still alive. And she wiggled and went, oh, she's alive! So I'm reaching in there into this hole, and she's getting away from me. I'm like, oh no, because if she goes down, then I've lost her. And so I'm trying to get her to come back, and her tail fell out of one of the holes. So then I grabbed her tail so she couldn't go any further, and I kept pushing my finger in the holes and getting her to loosen her grip, and slowly just backing her out of this hole. And finally, it took about 15 minutes to get her all the way out. But she was fine. She was calm and just chill. She smelled terrible. She smelled kind of chemically.
Yeah, but what if she pooped in there?
Yeah, I don't care if she pooped in the car. I'm just happy she's alive and happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave her a little bath and offered her some water and just kept her warm all last night. And happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty crazy though that she got lost in the car for a couple days. I also made a deal with her. I was pretty distraught over this thing, and I'm freaking out. I'm talking to her and calling her name. It's not like she can hear me or understand me or anything. But I'm in there trying not to tear up, looking for her. And I'm like, Princess, I know you can hear me. If you come out of here and you're safe, I'm making you a promise. You get one of 2 things, your choice. I said, you can either have a bigger enclosure, or we'll get you a boyfriend. I don't know. She hasn't chosen yet, but we'll see. But long story short, Princess got lost for a couple days, and now she's fine. But I was pretty worried.
I would be too.
Yes, I didn't want to tell you until I knew for sure, but I was pretty well convinced that I was going to have to tell you that Princess died. I was pretty well convinced that was going to be the outcome. That even if I did find her, that she would have either burned to death or froze to death. But I am so happy, so relieved that she's home and safe, and our very first snake continues to be with us.
Yeah. Or instead of she picks which one, how would they vote in the comments?
Ooh.
Which one?
Okay. That works for me.
Either a boyfriend or a bigger enclosure.
Okay, folks. So Carter's putting it out there to you guys. She's currently in a 65-gallon, but yeah. Does she deserve a bigger enclosure or a boyfriend? You decide.
Yeah, in the comments below.
Cool. All right, kiddo. I'm sorry, I almost lost Princess. I'm just glad she's with us. I was 100% blaming myself because I'm the one that put her in the car. I'm the one that put her in tub. And
Yeah, but you cannot control the weather.
no, but I mean, I felt like if I just did one thing a little differently, maybe she wouldn't have even gotten out, you
Yeah.
know?
Maybe a different tub,
Right.
or like just put it the top on title,
Something.
something.
And I guess, you know, that's a story hopefully you guys can learn from as well. You know, make sure that the tubs or the bags or whatever you're using to transport your animals is 100% secure, double secure.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk of you know, skimping on that. It's important. It could be their life.
Yeah.
You know, we got lucky, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
You know.
As always, we appreciate you watching and thank you for learning with us.
And we'll catch you on the next one.